All right, here we go. And, I just did a little Google search for terminal basic commands, and, there's resources out there, but we're not going to dig through that. Instead, I'm just going to hold down Command on my Mac. I'm going to hit my space bar, and then I'm going to type in terminal, and that'll bring up the terminal. Now, this is one of the things which is a bit of a suck. The great suck is that there's a difference between Windows and Mac and Unix, right? Mac and Unix, pretty well aligned, but Windows, totally different. And so what I'm going to show you is going to be all Unix Mac oriented and terminal oriented. And if you're working on Windows and the command prompt, you'll just need to look up the basic commands for doing things on Windows with the command prompt. And they're going to be totally different than the ones I'm going to show you. And so I really recommend developing on a Mac or on a Unix or on Linux because to me, unless you're going to be a Windows developer, like that's the better place to start. Like definitely you could kind of branch into Windows stuff later, but like it's like the 80-20, like 80% to me of what you're going to run into as a coder is going to be more conducive to being Mac, Unix oriented, Linux, that kind of stuff. All right, so all of that said, I've got the terminal up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to print working directory, pwd. So that's one command you need to know, and that shows me in my directory structure where I'm at. And so, this is users TM002 downloads. If I was to compare that to where I'm at in Finders, I could go right here to downloads, and that's the exact same spot, right? So somehow users TM002 downloads translates to exactly that thing. There's TM002, and so I should be able to look in here and still see downloads. So that kind of makes sense, right? I could also do, so that's print working directory, and we're going to make a list here, and I'm just going to put them right here in this terminal basic commands thing. We'll make that bullet, and then we'll do pwd, and you can just run them again to see what they do. I'm not going to put a little description of them. So the next thing I want to do is I want to change directories. And I could do cd, and that's going to take me to this thing, and then I could print working directory again, and it shows me, hey, I'm at users TM002. So just a cd, which is change directory, takes me back to my home directory. This is the home directory for the user TM002, 002. So that's another big thing is cd. And you could also do cd things like I'm going to cd and then put in a path. Well, where am I now? Right? I'm kind of at a slash. That's the root of the entire computer system. And so I did a slash there. Well, what is there? I could also do, and so I'll just put in like cd slash, and we'll add to that stuff here in a second. There'll be a few more cds. I could also do an ls. And an ls, to me, I'm not actually sure what it stands for, the ls. To me, it means list, like list what is here. And so here I listed things out. And so if I wanted to, I could go into cd user, and instead of typing usr, I could just start the first part and hit tab, and it completes it. So I could also type in things like that. So I could do like a, let's see, how's that cd user, right? But, we'll do documents because often it's just from, and I'll just show you this and then we'll get the documents one. So there's cd user, now I'm at user, and I could type in, we'll just hit enter, and then ls, and then cd, and here I could see what's in here, and I could look at local, and then I could do an ls, and then here, there's go, like there's my go stuff. That's pretty cool. How do I get back to my home directory? cd, right? And there I am, and I can print working directory, and I can see I'm at users 002. I could ls to see what's in there, and it listed a whole bunch of stuff in there, and I could see, hey, there's documents in there, or downloads. So I could change directory, doc. I don't have to type it all, just hit tab, right? And so the basic commands you've learned so far are print working directory, cd, and ls. That's like pretty much everything I've used, right? I'm scrolling up here, cd, ls, print working directory, ls, cd, and so just with a few basic commands, you're doing some pretty awesome stuff. And we saw that cd documents one right there, went into documents. So that's pretty cool. And ls is show everything, and then command K clears out my terminal. So command K clears out my terminal. Pretty nice. So I could come in here, command plus K, and that clears out my terminal. And then what else might I want to do? So let's say I'm in here and I go into change directory into HTML, and I hit HT and it didn't give me any choice, right? It was like it didn't complete. So I hit tab again and gave me two options. I'm like, oh, there's HT ML, and there's HTTP. So I'm going to go M, and now when I hit tab, it knows which one I want, and I could hit enter, and I could LS, and I could do CD, and go into 001, and hit tab, and enter, and I could be like, wait, I don't want to be there, CD dot dot slash forward slash, right? And now I've gone up a level, so that's another one which is really important to know about going up a level. CD dot dot slash, and you could add more stuff on that, so CD dot dot slash, and print working directory. I'm back at my home folder, home place for this user. And then Command K to clear it out, pretty cool. The other command which you should know about is CMD plus C, which is stops a running process. So I will add this stops a running process. So that's good to know about. So if you had something running and you're like, stop, and that's Command C to do that. On the Mac. All right, so print working directory, CD, LS, CMD K for clearing your screen, CMD C for stopping a running process if you have something running. I think that's like a lot of it. Let me just look through this list right here and see if there's something more. All right, so just look through this list. I want to show you a couple more things. And it's actually a pretty good list, and it's not, deplorably long. So one more thing I want to show you is we saw LS, which lists things, but I could also do ls-la, and that will list things, and I call that list all. I'm not sure if that's what it means, but ls-la. And notice when I did ls, I got this stuff, right, which has, documents, downloads. And when I do ls-la, it also has documents, downloads, but it has all these hidden files. So a period before a file means it's hidden, but now I could see it because I said list all, right? List everything. And so I see the hidden files I wasn't seeing before. And then I also see, the different stuff I've seen before, but I also have all this other information, which is over here on the left, right? Like I have all that information. And so this is like read, write, execute permission, read, write, execute permission, for and one of them's for like the user, one's for the group, and one's for something else. I always got to look it up. But that's what RWX 3 times means. And so that's not a really useful one. I'm going to Command K to clear that out. So ls-la is another really useful one. You could hit your up arrows to go back through commands and down arrows. So as the last one we entered was ls-la. Another one which is helpful is Nano. And so I could just do nano temp.txt, and it's going to open a little text editor, and here's a file. And then I could do, this little asterisk or caret. That's what that's called. That caret means control. So now I press Control X, and it says save modified buffer. And a buffer is just a place where you've stored stuff. And file name to write, temp.txt. And I just hit enter to do that. And so now if I do an ls, right, I can see I have temp.txt, and I could cat that, right, .text, and cat is just prints it out, and it printed out the text from that. So cat's also kind of an interesting little deal, prints out contents of a file, and opens editor. Cool. And then, sometimes you'll use a few of the other things in here, like we saw open already when we were looking at Atom. And then Pseudo allows you to run a command as a super user. It stands for super user do. So sometimes you'll be asked to do a sudo, and then remove recursively with force. So if I wanted to get rid of the temp file, I could do an rm, and I want to remove directory and contents, force removal without confirmation. So I'm going to do a -f and temp.txt. And so that was there. You could see it's right here, right above temp Caleb Jason. And so now I'm going to remove that, and now if I do an ls, that's no longer there. So that's kind of a nice one too, the remove, but I'm not going to put that into our list. There's a copy, there's a move, so you can move files, and there's making a directory. And so that might seem like a lot of commands, but remove, copy, move, right? Like, I mean, it's not that many. It's like less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 right there, and if you know 15 or 20, whoa, you know a lot. So that's the basic of terminal essentials. And when we use GitHub, we'll be using the terminal to do some of the stuff that we do with GitHub. And we're going to see that in the next video.